but that's still the same.
Oh my gosh, yes. That's crazy. Well, good. We're stuck at home. Good that you're not.
I know.
I'm at my new office, but this is
That's true. You're working in the office, right?
This is it. Yeah, just don't mind the kids drawing. Look at my whiteboard drawings over here.
Hey, that looks like how when I do it in a class. So what are you talking about? That's better than my artwork. So
Mikey's Ninja Turtle came out pretty cool at first. I was like, man, he actually drew 3 fingers on each hand. Like, I was like, this is legit. And then he gets the brown marker, and I was like, now he looks like I don't know, some grizzly bear or something. Doesn't look like a Ninja Turtle anymore.
That's funny. Maybe it was a self-portrait, and you just thought it was a Ninja Turtle.
Could have been.
Oh, or he was drawing a picture of you. Look at your face.
I know, he was.
That's funny.
What's that?
I said, how are you?
Yeah, I'm great. Yeah, just ready for this to be over. I'm just surprised that how come Ventura is locking things down so much in LA counties now?
Oh, LA is too, aren't they?
Oh, they are then? Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Okay.
LA's bad. It's pretty they have a lot more cases early on than we did.
Gotcha.
Ventura is still pretty low in terms of total cases. I think it's at 160 confirmed out of like 3,000 tests. So it's pretty, I mean, it's less than 5%. And then, like hospitalized is like 30, and then it's not bad. There's already about 30 that have recovered. So it seems like it's being controlled, so it sucks with the whole stay at home. But to be honest, right now, it's like, all right, let's stay home, wash your hands a bunch, be careful touching anything metal. Seems extreme, but, I'd rather be on that safe side. I don't want my family having to deal with any of that crap. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're saying kids aren't getting it. Oh, I think we talked about that. Yeah, it's good. They say the kids are carriers, but they don't seem to be getting sick like adults.
Yeah.
I actually just read one that the kid was 17, and and it went through his whole story, like day one to where he's at currently. Somebody shared it on Facebook, but started off, I guess he looked like he was getting swelling around the eye, and then kind of around the nose, and not almost like he was wearing goggles. And that was swelling. So they thought it was a little strange, but all he did was a few minimal things. Went to the gas station, went to the grocery store, went to I don't know, a few little things, and then it started hitting his like day 6 or day 7, and he had a fever, going for a decent, but he was 17 years old. So they gave him the prescription that they've been talking about, Trump's been talking about, with the whole EPAC, the antibiotics, and the whatever that drug is. What is it? Like chloro?
Yeah, the chlor something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Chlorine.
Like chlorine.
Like they wonder why he can't breathe, So,
yeah.
bad joke, I guess. Hey, what's up, Silver? How you doing, brother?
What's going on, people? Thank you for having me.
Hi, Silver.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Hi, Ross.
Good morning.
Good morning to you. Great to see you too.
You see, he's at his office, man. They're essential workers out there.
Yeah, see? Check me out. Actually, you probably don't want to see my office.
No. Did you hear, Russ? They made us, so we were non-essential, then we're essential, and then we became non-essential like the next day.
Yeah, I heard that, which I was like, that's so crazy. I don't know how they can not. Like, our governor here is doing, like, he actually just changed yesterday. He said you can now go into restaurants and order. You can't eat there, but you can go inside and order and pick up your food and leave. So I think our governor's doing everything he can to try to keep our economy
going.
Yeah.
Ours is trying to shut it down, man.
Ours doesn't care. Ours could care less.
Yeah,
I know.
He wants us all on welfare sooner than later. That's the goal of this meeting, to not have to get any
to
food
do that.
stamps.
Right.
Our
governor's a realtor too, so that makes it nice.
Okay.
So.
Yeah.
Ours is just a crook, so whatever.
Just
kidding. Just kidding.
Kidding, but I'm not.
Right.
Not kidding.
I know, Severia, you're up the street, man. I haven't seen you in ages, bud.
I know, dude. I just been at home.
You and your wife are good?
Yeah. She's working because she works for a communication company, so it's important to keep the communication going.
Yeah.
She works for the CEO with Frontier. So yeah, she has to go to work. But she's inside of a central office, so nobody goes in there. She just, taking care of any trouble that goes out there. She fixes it up inside there. So
Cool. Sounds good. Well, just thank you guys for hopping on here today, and we'll try to make it as effective as possible for everybody's time. But kind of what had in mind, and spoke to Russ a little bit yesterday about it. Just if we could, if you guys are open to it, I'd like to do it once a week. I know we've always talked about it, but getting together, just kind of touching base on where everything's at, any way that Russ and I can help secure these transactions, put them together, help close them, practice, whatever it takes to really make this happen. Because I don't know how you guys feel in terms about your business right now, but I really do feel when we can't do open houses, we can't door knock, there's a lot that we can't do with the current conditions. What we can do is we have these leads of people who are they're in front of their computers right now, looking online, and leads are coming in. And I'm sure you've noticed I haven't just been sending the leads out. And I wanted to talk first before we just start handing those out, but they're coming in on a regular basis. I mean, it's 6 to 8 a day now. They're starting to come in, and they're higher price points, I'm seeing. So I see some good potentials here, and I want to start dishing them out, but I just want to make sure we're all on the same page and doing what we can to make the most out of them. Because as you guys know, Russ, you've invested in this the longest, and then brought me in probably about a year to year and a half ago. We've only, at least together, have had one small closing with Leslie a while ago, which was helpful to kind of make us almost that whole after 6 months. But, it's something that we always have to look at. We're looking at our finances as well. It's like, do we keep this going? Is this something we do? And I do think it's essential that we do, and it's as we know, a long-term play. And Anissa, you've been doing it the longest, in terms of experience and commitment. And we're grateful for both of you guys and your efforts with us. And just, we really want to, I feel now, have the time to refocus and make this the best it can possibly be. So just, I guess, before we get going,
can I speak to that for a second?
Yes.
So here's the thing I would tell you is this is an awesome opportunity right now with this, and it is going to create the scenario where, like, who knows what's going to happen with the market? Meaning, like, I don't know. Everything I'm hearing is once the spigots turn back on, that it'll be fine and we'll be good to go. But, speaking of that, one of the leads here said that he heard you could get coronavirus by talking on the phone. So I hope we can't get it through a Zoom call with Lisa coughing on us. Anyway,
I know that's why. Garlic in the top left corner of my screen over here.
I'm not.
So anyway, what I really want you guys to understand is, I personally wasn't doing this in 2008, 2009, but there are teams here that I have worked closely with that were doing this. And during that downturn, their business proceeded on, and they just kept closing. And in fact, they had the highest per person production in the whole Salt Lake Valley. And it was a result of doing exactly what we're doing. So just know that no matter what happens, whether it's good or bad that comes out of this, people, and especially right now, I think exactly what Brandon's saying, because they're home, they're jumping on. So just keep in mind that percolation, information gathering, and active phase. And we are going to be capturing a lot of people that are in the early phases of this. The biggest key secret to all of this, stay in touch. That lead follow-up, just staying in touch. And you watch what's going to happen. This is going to explode. So this has created an awesome, awesome opportunity for us with these leads to capture people and start to build the relationship before they're ready. So anyway, go ahead, Brandon. Sorry.
Oh, that's awesome. And just kind of quick overview, what we'd like to do is first touch base on how it's going with the current leads and calls that you're making. I talked about doing reports and things like that. And I know it's tedious, but just keeping us in the loop would be helpful, so as much as we can work together, and maybe these calls are enough to just kind of check in on what's happening and what's progressing. But more importantly, dealing with the objections that people are going to have right now. I know, Severio, recently when you went out to go show that property to the gal, didn't hear all the details of what happened, but I know the tone I was kind of getting with her before. And I was trying to really pre-qualify her before we went out there, because you take a risk, our own health risk, their risk, the person's house that you're visiting, it's a risk for them. So we got to be smart about how we approach this. Not saying that you weren't, but now is an excuse to truly pre-qualify these people before we get out of our house and take any chance and do anything, which we got to talk about how we're going to do these virtual tours, because they are really hammering down, Russ, in California. They're hammering down on, I mean, it's strict fine violations if you're caught out there doing anything that is not essential. So, you know, even if we post something on social media, we got to be careful with that, with somebody reporting us. And people out here in Ventura County are tedious. I mean, it's ridiculous. My parents got something because my brother Matt is like an MLS subscriber, but his wife has car, realtor, all that stuff going on, but Matt didn't. My parents got some type of notice just recently. So that means somebody called and reported him that he's not a actual realtor member, because he's got a security job full time and still has to keep that income coming in because they haven't got their real estate going. But they do everything under Brittany's name. And all he is an MLS subscriber, and literally got my parents got the notice the other day. It's like, are you kidding me? Like, right now, that's the kind of stuff that people have time for. And the only reason why I share it is as we are continuing, because I know this thing's going to take off. I know the caliber of both of you that are on this, and want you to know how grateful we are that you continue putting effort in it, especially Anissa. You've been doing it the longest, that you've stuck with it as long as you have. And we just want you to know how appreciative we are. Sure, you've noticed, yeah, of course. And I'm sure you've noticed in terms of the Google call, I actually updated the information on the website and put all my contact info on it. And when it did it, it actually put my cell phone number instead of the Google voice number. So we're going to switch that back. And as long as you're good with it, Russ, we'll put Anissa and Severio on it and just keep it as our core. And it's basically first person to answer it gets the lead, gets the call. And just so you know, I haven't had too many calls with it anyway. So it's not like it's done that big of a difference. There's been a couple, but not like at one period of time, it was almost every day or every other day, at least one call would come in. So, and this is before the whole stay at home thing. Now I feel more is happening online. So the other thing, and I know you shared with us before, Anissa, is like the emails were really the most effective thing that were happening. So I want us to share best practices here. Even though we're not officially a team, I still look at us as a team. And I hope you guys feel that you're still a part of this team, even though you're still branding Severio, you're still branding Anissa, you know. Russ, he's out there hustling. We don't know about it, but he's branding Russ Orchard out there.
Who knows what he's hustling?
Right.
Yeah,
right.
you don't want to know.
But we don't want to be, you know, I mean, in being blunt, we want to protect the leads. We want to be careful with the leads, right? Obviously, you know, we're paying money for this, and you've heard about it. So when I talked to Russ about it, until you close the transaction, it's your client, right? So you have to
say that the other way around.
Okay.
No, meaning like we're the ones paying for the leads, so
right.
It's still really technically our lead until you have closed the transaction. Until
you close it. That's what I meant. So
yeah,
and we have to be careful with that. And I hope you guys understand our position with it, because if you're not making the calls, which that's not what we're questioning right now, right? If you're not following up, if you're not doing it, we're spending money on leads and it's just dropping off. But I don't sense that with the two of you. And that's the reason why it's the two of you that are on this call and not 4 or 5 other people that, you know, we've tried to work with that didn't pan out, right? That weren't following up, that weren't doing those things. So I just want to get your feel before we just start, you know, jumping into this. How do you feel about it? Do you want to be a part of this? Is this something that you want to continue to do? Because we have to look at, and I haven't had the call from Brian, as you guys know, he's helping with the CSMC, but literally, and I don't know, the transaction you're working with right now, Anissa, is Mark Richardson involved on the loan on that one, or do they have their own loan officer?
Yeah, they have their own.
Okay. So, I mean, just I guess in being blunt, you know, Mark Richardson, I don't know if he's converted anything from this yet. So we don't know how long they're going to continue paying half of this, which is $500 a month, you know. Now, if we can bring some success and start closing some transactions, Russ and I have always had the intention to start increasing this and start making it where it's even more opportunity. But to be honest, there should be enough opportunities right now where we're getting, I mean, on average, close to about 25, like I'm talking about each. roughly about 25 new leads every single month in decent quality lead. That's a good, decent amount. And to be honest, I'm probably quoting on the low side. It's probably actually going higher than that, but at least from all the research I've done on teams and internet leads, that's ballpark where they try to keep it at per agent, is ballpark about 25. Now, if you're going out and paying for leads yourself, you can look into it. You can look into Realtor, Zillow. You can look into your own pay-per-clicks. It's not cheap for these things. You know what I mean? And especially right now, even though they say there's discounts for Zillow because people aren't doing it, every podcast I'm listening to, they're seeing an increase in traffic, increase in signups, increase in people that are looking online. So I know we are literally set up as good as you can be set up right now. We can be better just in terms of the practice and dealing with these objections, but the timing is perfect, as Russ said, in terms of actually making this stuff start converting. And I'm hoping we can get our percentage up in terms of not just contacts, but Russ has a lot of experience of what works. You know?
Yeah, and here's the other thing I would say on that is just keep in mind that most agents are not doing anything now. So that's why I'm saying that the opportunity is so good, is because in the past, these people will sign up 5, 6, 7 different websites. And so you're competing with everybody that else is calling. But what you're going to find is they're not going to be calling right now. Very few will be still calling. And so if you will do that, it is where we can really set it up. So yeah, I think it'd be great. We're doing too much talking though, Brendan. So
yeah.
Any thoughts from you guys?
What?
Hey,
Go ahead, Anissa.
I know what you mean by that, Anissa. Brandon's doing too much talking.
You can text me. You can text me later and thank me.
Thanks, Russ. I'm totally kidding. I'm kidding. You know, I have to be honest with you guys. I mean, you know, I have been doing it for what, almost 2 years now. I don't know. And I've closed one. I mean, both a sell and a buy.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I mean, I don't know, is that 2? So,
yeah.
So, I mean, it does get frustrating. I mean, Heather and we have spent hours and hours on this too. And we've tried to figure out what works. And I still, like, over the weekend, I got this call from a guy that I've talked to over a year ago. And he called me like I should know him. And I mean, I do remember him. He's like, hey, it's Saul. And I'm like, hey, Saul. And this guy was calling me at 10 o'clock at night, 6 o'clock in the morning, like for 2 days. I was sick. So I was like, okay. So he finally calls me on Saturday and he's like, can we go look at these 3 houses tomorrow? And I said, to be honest, I can't show houses, And so he wanted a mobile home, and we kind of talked a little bit about a mobile home, and I told him I would try and find a mobile home lender for him. But we also talked about a condo and stuff like that. So we're still in the talking phase, but yeah, I mean, I feel like sometimes I've been frustrated a lot of times. Like, I feel like, do I sometimes walk away from this? Do I stay? I mean, it's definitely something that I'm just being honest with you guys. Sometimes I'm like, I look at all these people that I've called 50 times and texted and emailed and this, and yes, sometimes I get a trickle, but then I don't know what it is. Sometimes I get so close and I feel like I've done everything that we can, and they actually know me by name and things like that. And all of a sudden they're gone, and it's like, it's frustrating. It's so frustrating because I look at all, and I do know you guys, I've said this before, I know you guys are paying for this. So I do have that weight of that on my shoulders. But, there's sometimes that I feel like, do I just walk away? Is this worth it for me to do it? Is it worth, so, I mean, that's just where I'm at right now. Maybe it's just because I've been in the house for 3 weeks. So,
Probably.
and I'm not, but I just, sometimes I do get frustrated and I do, I don't know. I don't know. So, and like Brandon, you sent me that girl to, I called right away that you sent me a couple days ago. And she just was like, she knew nothing about anything about real estate. And, it was like she looked at a $600,000 home and she was like, well, can I rent? Can I make payments on this house? Like, she knew nothing. And so I said, look, let me get you, I sent her, I'll send you a lender. I'll send you like this. It just seems like they're so new in this process that
Yep.
I know it's going to take a year and a half for them to even get to a point where they're ready.
Right.
And I don't know, sometimes I just feel like I call and I call and I call. And then so calling doesn't work anymore. I don't think it seems like it doesn't. And then texting doesn't work. The one thing that does work that I feel like we've gotten the most response is emailing, because we'll email like constantly, like once or every other week we'll say like, are you ready? That one, I know Russ put it in there.
Yeah.
I know we haven't gotten in. It's, that thing that seems to get a lot of response, but I don't know. That seems to be working the most, like getting the biggest response. We'll get stuff like, no, not now, or yes, send me a house right now, or, but I feel like most of these people are so at the beginning stages that it takes forever. And I know maybe it's just me wanting like, okay.
So partially I would say that's true. But the other thing I would say is, so here's the thing. If you're getting responses from email, then what we've got to do, and I'm happy to help with this, is what we want to do is we need to create a way to move them from the email to a phone call. And I've got some ideas of what we could do with that. But you said something else I want to hit on first. And that was how sometimes you're connecting with people and then all of a sudden they go radio silent. Mm-hmm. Here's what works the very best. And what I would send them is this. So I would recommend write this down and use it as either an email or a text with the people, because if they have been communicating with you and then they stop, this is not 100%, but I found this tends to be the best way to get them back to re-engage with you, is if you send this message, be either text or a voicemail or even an email. But just say, hey, first name. So whatever it is, hey, first name, ... I'm sorry, ... I must have offended you, ... I wish I knew what I did to upset you so that I could fix it. So I'll say it again. So, hey, first name, I'm sorry, I must have offended you. I wish I knew what I did to upset you so that I could fix it. Because if you have been communicating with them, I mean, stop and think about it. Let's say, Anissa, you and I have been talking back and forth and all of a sudden you quit responding to me for whatever reason. If I sent that to you, said, hey, Anissa, I'm sorry, I must have offended you. I wish I knew what I did to upset you so that I could fix it. What would you do?
I would want to respond.
Yeah.
I would respond.
So what I've found is typically they'll respond. If they don't respond to that, then you're probably going to there's no way you're going to get them to respond. But what I have found is by sending that, they usually will come back, oh, I'm so sorry. No, you didn't do anything. It's just, and then they'll usually tell you what's gone on. I lost my job, my cat died, my whatever. And you can say, oh, no worries. I work with my clients at their pace. I just want to help you. And so I think that's kind of the biggest thing I would say is, yes, keep in mind that these typically, the most of the deals that we're going to do from this are going to be longer term. But as we get that pipeline rolling, then it should work. So yeah. Anyway, I will be happy to help with ideas of things like that. Of if somebody if they're engaging on email. So let me give you another one that I may or may not have shared with you. If they have been engaging on email, your objective is I got to get them on the phone somehow. So find a property that they've looked at, and then just send to them and say, hey, I've got some non-public information on this property. Call me. So, and we can just come up with some other ideas, but just kind of try to be creative in how do I get them to get off of the computer and onto the phone. Then once I get them on the phone, now how do I get them from the phone to an appointment, which in today's world will probably be like this. And then, but which honestly though, and to some extent, I'm excited that this is kind of becoming an okay format, because I think you could get people to agree to this before they would agree to an actual appointment even. And then once we get to this, now then it's the appointment kind of a thing. So.
Right. And I definitely have, it is. And I definitely have probably about 6 people that I've showed, this one lady, again, she's the one I'm in escrow with right now. She was probably my 3rd contact that I've ever, and it's been a while. And she told me, she's like, Anissa, I have another agent. I had another agent, but the fact that you were relentless and that you had follow up, she's like, that's why I chose you guys, because you would not let up. And so I'm like, okay, on that hand, it's like, I've been told that 3 times, especially with this one girl, Giselle, that I just showed a couple weeks ago. She didn't give us her phone number. She would not give us her phone number. We just had to do email. Finally, she called me, so I had her phone number. And so I've showed her a couple of things, and actually told her I would be driving around Simi one of these days to show her the different areas, but then this whole thing happened. But yeah, I mean, I definitely see, the whole, you have to keep going and following up, and probably out of these, whatever, a couple hundred that I have, maybe 5 are going to, I think, I don't know. But again, it's a weird time right now.
Well, right. And I guess my only thing is, and I appreciate your openness to just sharing all this, number one, so thank you for just being, that's what we want. Last thing we want, obviously this is work, there's frustration that's involved. There's stress that's involved. There's a lot of rejection that's involved. There's internet leads are a different type of beast altogether.
Yeah, they are.
Right. And it's all about follow-up. It's all about staying connected. And then when they're ready, now they're going to start engaging with you typically, right? So you're waiting until it starts heating up. Once it gets to that boiling point and they're just like, okay, now something's happened where I really am serious about making that move. Now it's all about your ability to connect with them. Because if you don't, they know 3 or 4 other people. I guarantee it. So there's no reason for them to pick you over anybody else. And again, we're not giving them any incentive, right? Like Redfin and these other companies give 25%. They give all these different credits to hook them. We're not giving any of that. They're seeing all that stuff online. I guarantee it. If they're finding us by accident, they're also seeing that stuff. So in terms of loyalty, I mean, we got to think of ways to be creative to try to figure out how to hook them. I'm not saying give away our commission, but all I'm saying is if we're just going to play the numbers, it typically is going to be a lower percentage. We can probably increase that at some point and get our systems better. But I know you and Heather have put in the longest amount of time and the most amount of work. I know Severio recently, I know you've been putting in time and putting in energy just on your follow-up and how you're responding with me. And that's all Russ and I want is just when we send it to you, just reach out, try to connect with them. But if they don't pick up the first time, doesn't mean it's a dead lead. Just means we got to find another way, right? Maybe it is off an email drip system. Maybe it is setting them up on some type of search and blasting out some properties. So those are the things I want to fine tune instead of us all working in our own silos, like literally. How do we stay connected? How do we still work together through this and figure out the way? But I mean, I just want to make sure, Nisa, this is what you want to continue to do. Because if you don't, there's no offense to us. Just let us know so that I share more with Severio or whatever the case needs to be, to make sure whoever's all in that's where we're going to be, funneling more towards. Right. And I've done it myself for some time. And then there's times that I haven't done it. I'll be the first to admit. So it is something that it is going to be a part of my day every day. Right. And it is going to be something that I'm making an effort to make these calls because this isn't about the instant gratification that we all want in real estate. Right. We need to pay bills now, but it's not about that. This is about a source of business that we can build our pipeline. So really, by the time all this crap is over, at least here in California, which there is concern, Russ, and I don't know what you guys are seeing in Utah, but this could be 6+ months out. And from the reports I'm hearing from the California Association of Realtors, their economists, they're talking, we really won't see it back to where it was at almost a year from now. Well, if that truly is the case, and we're stuck at home and we can't show property and we can't do these things, not only is it going to have a major impact on our market here in California, but we have to come up with a creative way to still engage and meet people.
Well, if that happens, this is going to be just that much more crucial. I'm telling you. But I seriously, I can't underscore that enough. In 2008, this was the way, and there were very few people doing it. So anyway, so
well, that makes me feel better because sometimes I'm like, I just had to step back and go, is this worth it? And I'm just being honest, you guys, and I'm not saying I'm quitting or anything like that. I have to step back and go okay, my SOI is pretty strong. This is and I'm only, is this worth it financially? Is it worth it this? Is it worth, and then I think, okay. And then I look at the list of all the people that I do know, and I'm like, oh yeah, they're gonna buy in a year. Oh yeah, so it's like, I get it. And I totally, like, when I look at the list and I think all these conversations, hundreds of conversations I've had with people, and I'm like, oh yeah, that person's husband just died, or she's, and and that's another example. It's been, and there's some really good things that have come out of this. And her husband did die, and her mom just died. So, but I actually showed her property, and she's going to sell a house in Agora Hills, and it's probably going to be close to $1 million. And so it's like, she's doing a couple things. So it's like, okay, it's good. I just get,
Yeah.
it's,
Well, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Okay, so just one other thought too that I just wanted to hit on as we're doing the calls. The thing to keep in mind, especially today, as you are doing the calls and or email or text, whatever it is, make sure that you are saying multiple times, especially on a call, but on a text or an email, I would do it a couple times. I work with my clients at their pace. I can't emphasize that enough. If you you got to tell people, hey, look, because what's going to happen is they're going to go, well, yeah, I want to wait till all this is over. Totally understand. If I were you, I would too. I work with my clients at their pace. That's totally fine. I'm good with that. Like, as long as they know you're not there, think about it, because we're all the same way. You get a sales call, you're immediately, nope, not interested. I'm not really going to do it. Even if you are, but we got to remove that by saying, hey, I work with my clients at their pace. So it's fine. Whatever you want to go. And in fact, the other thing I would be saying on these calls and or emails and texts is totally understand. But when the time comes, would you rather be over prepared or under prepared? And they're going to go, well, over prepared. Perfect. Then there's some things we should be doing right now. When can we get on a Zoom call so I can walk you through that? Because because especially if what Brandon said was true, let's say it does stretch out for 6 months. Okay, that's fine. We'll figure out how to adapt to it. But also, like, what if you build up a reservoir of people that were just ready that, and here's the other thing too, that I have been telling agents here to do is tell people, and I don't know if you watched Morning Ascent this morning with Kathleen Bruno, but she brought up of just, hey, let's treat transactions right now like a duplex or a fourplex, meaning on those, they make offers sight unseen, but they do it contingent upon an inspection. And so just that's part of what we want to be telling people is, look, hey, we've got an opportunity now to not be in multiple offers on properties. We could go tie up a property. We can do it as visual inspections online. Like, we could have the seller walk through the house and show you every single thing, but we can also just say, let's set a inspection deadline. Do you guys call it due diligence or inspection? What do you call your time frame?
Due diligence.
Yeah, it is your due diligence period.
Okay.
When we talk about what you're saying, it's writing subject to inspection. It's the exact same technology.
Perfect. Okay. Yeah. So write it subject to inspection. And then we can just tell these buyers, look, hey, we're going to get this set up to where we don't have to compete on it, but we'll just keep kicking the inspection down the road if we have to for you to go check it out. So anyway, that's the kind of things that I think if we will do, we'll see some good opportunities.
And that's what I'm most excited about talking on this. I know, it's handling those objections, right? How do we get better so when we're on the phone with them and they're like, well, and that's what I was telling Russ yesterday, exactly what you said, Anissa. It's like, okay, so we finally start connecting. We finally start talking to them. Now they want to see a property. Now we get to tell them, no, sorry, I can't show you property. So it's like, well, why do I even want to initiate that call if I know I don't want to show them property? But we have to come up with another way, and we got to be persuasive. That's what our job is being salespeople, right? We got to be better than they are at what they're trying to convince us of why I don't want to work with you, Anissa. See, you're not showing me the property. Well, that's why I don't want to work with you. And I don't want to be told what I'm to do. And we have to create, and I heard you, Russ, say it in your training the other day about you got to make them curious, right? You have to pique their curiosity early on in that conversation. Otherwise, you're not going to grab their attention. You're just another solicitation call. So we have to change this from a solicitation call to being where we pique their curiosity, that we hit certain things on the head, that we know that there's things that they don't know that we know. So how do we share that with them, get them thinking. And it's like, okay, I need to have this conversation with Anissa or Severio because they obviously know something that I don't know that I can't just find online myself. And then start creating that rapport, take all the pressure off. Look, hey, I'm not going anywhere. You probably shouldn't be going anywhere. So we got all the time in the world. You're not going to get any pressure from me. But what we do is we do everything up front, right? Even in a regular market, we're going to do everything up front to give you the best opportunity to do what you need to do. Go ahead.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
So just as an idea, and shoot me down on it if you doesn't think it will work, but let's say that, Brandon, you're one of these leads and you want to go see the property.
Yeah.
What if what we did is this? Like, and I guess what I'm saying is, if they said to me, hey, I want to go see the property, what if what we did is this, of saying, hey, we're being asked not to do that, but if you are okay with it and you want to go see it, I'll be happy to call the listing agent and see if the seller would be willing to meet you at the home, let you in and go take a look. I mean, is it?
They have to sign a form now.
Yeah,
they have
liability.
To sign a form.
So it's, there's a concern with it, but what we can tell them, piggybacking off what you said, is we can call the listing agent, do some research for you, right? This is kind of the new way we're doing business now. We call them, we ask them questions. That's also why you need me, right? Because they're probably not going to, we know what questions to ask to protect you, to make sure that this is safe, but also to see what the seller's situation is, how motivated they are. Do they have any offers at this time? Will they do a virtual tour or video of the house for us, right? Because I had a buyer actually ask on a property in Oxnard and said, hey, you know, I want to see the place during my lunch. And I'm like, bro, they're not going to let you see it. Like I'm not BSing you when I'm saying, you know, that we can't go see inside these homes. And he's just like, well, I'm off at 12. I was like, let me reach out just to prove it to him. So I sent it I called. The guy texts me back. He doesn't even call me back. Says, no, we have no offers at this time. We're on hold during this whole COVID-19. My client doesn't want to show the property until this thing clears. So I got it all on text is how they respond. So I forward that to my client. And he's like, okay, so he finally backs off on the situation. But this is somebody I've spent a lot of time with, that I did all this stuff up front for 2 hours, buyer consultation, built the trust, built the rapport, and he's still trying to tell me what to do when I've made it very clear we're not going out there and doing this. And on top of that, we're in escrow on another property, and he's still, you know, trying to push on seeing this home. So it's just, you're going to get some of that. And we as agents, we just have to lead. And sometimes you're going to piss them off and never talk to them again. That's okay. We need to kind of filter through the crap, to be honest with you, the people who aren't motivated, the people who are just kind of using. And I'm not saying push it hard, because just like Russ said, we'll do this at your pace, right? You know, is really where we want to stay focused. But if they get to where they're really pushing that showing, now is your opportunity to push back and just say, this is just not safe for anybody right now. At the same time, we can help you be ready so that when we are able to see properties, you're ready to go. Because everybody else is going to start trying to get ready then. We're getting ready now. So when there is a chance you can go in and see it, let's do it. Or if you really want to get the best opportunity, which, think about it, who's searching foreclosures and short sales? Somebody who wants to get a good deal, right? I mean, we've all heard it on there. Well, you know, I called because I thought this was, or I signed up because I thought it was a foreclosure. I really want a good deal. Huge opportunity for us. You just got to write subject to inspection. You know, do you got the guts to write on something basically without seeing it? And if you do, if you have that kind of threshold, and we're not going to say that specifically, right? But if they have that mindset that they're really looking for a good opportunity, we just got to be a little bit, think outside the box in terms of how we're going to approach that.
And, you know, we just had the one that we're in escrow with right now, it fell out of escrow. So we had this, we knew we had 4 days to get it back into escrow. So we were calling everyone. I called everybody that I knew, like the agents I knew that were working that area. And this one lady called and she's like, look, I have to find a place for my client. And which are, you know, with all happening, can they come look? She's like, but this is what I'm going to do. If you open the door for them, we'll wipe down all the knobs, everything. I'll sit in my car. My clients will come in. They'll go look, not touch one thing. And then you can go back in and now is that extreme? But we're in the extreme state right now. So wipe down everything, and then we are not to discuss anything on the property at the property. We can get in our cars and talk about it at that point. So I mean, that's an extreme thing that I just kind of went through, but it worked. We're in escrow.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's awesome.
No, I think that those are the correct safety precautions. It may seem extreme compared to what we've done in the past, but that's what you have to do.
And we had booties and we had gloves and I think they had a mask. I'm not sure, but I mean, no one can get a hold of them, access to them. Why not put them in the property and have them, put booties on and whatever. So, I mean, and it's funny because I was thinking about like people that really want to show houses or see houses right now. It's kind of like the same kind of people that want to see on Christmas Eve, or it's like, those are the serious people right now.
Yeah.
It seems like,
Right.
So
well,
that's just an option.
Yeah, no, I think that's great. And any other questions that you have, Russ, or just in terms of those scenarios? Because I do want to hear kind of what's happening, just with the calls and the other things. Have you had time, Anissa, to still make other calls, or has your focus mostly been on what you currently have? Because I know you still have a few things happening right now, right? A few different transactions.
Yeah, I have a few going on. Like we have one just fell out, so I need to get that back in.
Yeah.
Today or tomorrow, hopefully. And then I have this one in Anaheim that's just sitting right now because of this virus, but it's vacant now. So I'm hoping that could create a little bit more showings because it is vacant.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But yeah, I mean, I haven't since we've been home, probably the last week and a half. I mean, I've been calling, talking to people that have been calling me or responding to the emails. But as far as like consistently calling, just the people that I've already connected with, that's who I'm talking to. But as far as the new ones, I will though, starting Monday. I haven't.
Well, I just want
because I didn't really know how to handle it too. Like you think of this like I can't show houses, so
right.
That kind of thing.
That's exact same justification I've been telling myself as well, and it's literally just changing the perspective of okay, no, this is we need to make very clear on that call that we're not asking them to see property. We're not asking them to do anything right now other than let's share some information with you and hopefully start cultivating a new situation, new opportunity that will set us up hopefully 2-3 months from now. When we say 6 months to a year, my real hope is this takes about 60 days to blow over, right? And in 2 months, we got to be ready to rock and roll.
Yeah.
And if we're not focused on new business and we're not focused, all it takes is one of these opportunities for us in California, just one, as you know, with the one that you're currently in escrow, to really make this start worth your time, right? So, but I was just curious, I mean, do you feel that it is worth? And believe me, every escrow and every transaction is hard work. I don't care if it's your sphere. I don't care how strong you are as an agent, how much experience you have. Every single one of my closings in the last 6 months, every single one of them has been difficult, other than the one I had with Severio. I gotta make the exception with that. Severio did his thing. I gotta give him his props on the property on Bridgeport. That was probably one of the best transactions we had. But other than that, they've all been difficult with our clients, people trying to over negotiate. It's a very interesting time, but that also allows us the ability to really shine. And I'm gonna bring one thing up because some of the things you shared earlier, Anissa, reminded me of somebody who you know pretty well, and I'm not going to bring her name up, but you could probably already figure out who I'm talking about. But she came to me one day. She had all these leads, all these internet leads, and she comes to me and she's like, look, I'm so frustrated because everybody's got issues. Everybody's got problems. Everybody's like not ready to go right now. And I just want somebody who's ready. I can't remember the words she said, but I'm listening to the whole thing. It's like, do you know how many people would kill to be in your position right now? Like you have all these leads, right? And all I wanted to say is, well, it's because you're not very good that you can't convince them to do it. And I'm not taking this as a direct hit to you or anybody on here. That's what I wanted to say. But what I said, which was a little bit more appropriate, was if people didn't have issues and problems, why do they need us, right? Yeah, if we don't have solutions for them, if we're not going to lead them through this, where's the value in working with us? Yeah. Those issues create opportunities. That's what creates the value for us. The issues that we're dealing with right now, the fact that people can't just call the sign and get into a home right now creates an opportunity, right?
Right.
Yeah.
It creates a reason. They have to find another way to try to get access to a property. So they're going to push every way they can. They're going to push towards you as the person who's on the phone with them. And it's not that we want to prevent them from doing it, but they're going to start hearing a consensus. They're going to start getting an idea that it's not just Severio being lazy or Anissa being lazy or Brandon or Russ being lazy. This is the reality of what we're dealing with right now. So we're not making excuses of why we don't want to show them property. We just got to change it up. So I just bring that up because as frustrating as this can be, there's still a payoff. There's still opportunities. And, but at the end of the day, if you don't see it or don't want to be a part of it, there's no offense taken. Just let us know. So we just cut it off and we're done. And obviously, you know, we're hopeful that, not hopeful. I mean, we've all made the promise that if any of it does pan out in the future, that you're still going to honor, you know, what the original commitment was. So, are we good with that? Is that fair? Just from anything that comes from these leads?
Yeah.
Okay. Just making sure. You good, Silver?
Great.
Okay. So Silver, why don't you talk, man? And, you know.
I know. I was waiting for my moment because I'm like, these people are gonna take the whole freaking time, and all of a sudden they're gonna go like, all right, guys, it's time for us to go. We'll see you next time, next week. And I'm like, what?
I was just about to say that, actually.
Hey, I want to say that I appreciate the opportunity that you guys have given me to work these leads, and I'm very positive and energetic about it. So I don't see it as at least at this point, frustrated. You know, I'm not frustrated with it. I like every time I get leads, I'm on it. I call them up, and if I don't get them on the phone, now I'm sending them text message like right away. If I don't get them on the phone, send them a text message. I had an opportunity to talk to one of those leads one day, and I introduced myself and everything, and the guy goes, "Hey, listen, I don't need to buy anything. Thank you for your call, but you know." He's like, I already have insurance. And I'm like, insurance? And I said, no, I don't sell insurance. And then, so he hung up on me, right? And I was like, all right. So I sent him a text message. I said, hey, listen, so-and-so, I wanted to apologize, you know, but I also wanted to thank you for taking my call. But here's the thing. I don't sell insurance. I'm a real estate agent with Century 21 Everest. And the reason why I call you is because you visited our website, you know, Ventura County shortsales.com. And I just want to follow up with you and see how can we help you better. What are you looking for? Are you looking for, you know, primary residence? Are you looking for an investment property? And basically that's what the phone call was about. And I say, I don't sell insurance. I say, I just help people to, you know, buy a house or sell a property or anything related to real estate. So I say, I apologize for the inconvenience, but this is, you know, I just wanted to make sure that you understand what I do. And I say, you have a great day, and sorry for bothering you, right? I send it. He respond 5 minutes later. He respond, and he's like, "Hey, Severio, I'm really sorry." You know, this time he was apologizing. He's like, "Hey, Severio, I'm really sorry that I was so short with you because I get so many phone calls every day. You know, people trying to sell me something, whatever." And I say,
spend a little bit of time just pondering. Sorry.
Oh, and you know, he was just apologizing, and he goes, "I'm not ready to buy anything right now," but he's like, "I'm gonna keep your phone. I'm gonna keep your mind, and I will, you know, reach out to you." And I say, and then I text back and I say, "Is it okay if we just keep in contact, you know, via email? I can just shoot you an email once in a while just to let you know how the market is doing." And he's like, "By all means, go ahead," you know. So, but that's one of the things that I see, that sometimes people, like, we all get phone calls like every day, you know, from solicitors, different products or whatever. And people are tired of phone calls sometimes, but if they just take the moment to understand what the phone call is about, the good thing that I like about this is that we're not calling. They came to us. They came to us. So I used that from the beginning. I say, hey, listen, the reason why I'm calling you is because we have noticed that you visited our website, you know, and I tell the name of the website and everything, and they're like, oh yeah, I was there. So now I have a communication with them, because I didn't call them from the beginning and say, hey, you know, I'm looking for these, that, whatever. No, they find us. They give us their information. Now we call them back just to follow up. And I say, I'm just following up to see how can I help you better. What are you looking for? What have you find what you're looking for yet? You know, and so I start asking questions, and they open up. I'm like, well, you know, I was just looking. I'm not ready to buy. When were you thinking about buying? You know, and I keep asking questions, but at the end, I usually have them to agree and being okay with me. Send them an email. You know what? I'm not ready yet, but keep me posted. Okay, so I get an opportunity to keep engaging with them, with me, I think what has worked better with these leads is phone calls. Like literally every time Brandon give me leads, I talk to, like, if I get 6, I talk to like 3 of them, you know. But I call them and I talk to them, and if they don't answer, then if the phone is good, because I gotta check that too. If the phone is actually a good good number, then I text them, and some of them respond, some of them don't. But I get like chance of talking to them maybe 50-50. So it's, I'm in it all the way, and yeah, I'll do my best to convert them and use whatever tool is necessary to get it done. And I know the more we have on the list, the percentage will grow of the ones we can convert, the ones we can close. We just gotta continuously be on it. If we gotta, if we put them on a drip campaign, or call them once in a while, but we gotta be consistent. And what you guys are saying is right. What Raz is saying is right. That when all these goes away, if we are ready, we're gonna be like popping deal after deal, because everybody else that we've been in touch with are anxious to get out and buy. At that point, we already have them pre-qualified.
Yep.
We already have them ready to go. We're probably going to need to hire an assistant, so we don't have to, do all the footwork. But I see it as a great opportunity.
Yeah, sweet.
Yeah, thanks for
So
sharing.
can I want to give one other thing, and I don't know that Saverio, you and I have talked about this, but the key thing when you're calling them is always start. Basically, here's the script, and I'll email this out to you guys if you want. But here's what works the very best is, I noticed you signed up on my website. I'm calling to just get an idea what you're looking for. They're usually then going to say, oh, I just signed up. I was curious. I was blah, 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 whatever. Like, almost doesn't matter what they say at that point. Once they say it, then you follow it up with, well, the reason I ask is, now let me pause. If they start telling you what they're looking for, you don't need to do what I'm going to say next. But anything they say besides what they're looking for, if you will just say to them, well, the reason I ask is because I come across some really good deals. And you want to say it like, I come across some really good deals, short sales, HUD homes, foreclosures, stuff like that. Give me an idea what you're looking for. They will start to tell you what they're looking for. But if they don't, then at that point I say, well, so if I came across a good deal, would you want to know about it? And if they say no to that, then I'm probably going to move on, but very few are going to do that. So just always give me an idea what you're looking for. And if they don't tell you, the reason I ask is because I come across some really good deals, short sales, HUD homes, foreclosures, and I just want to keep an eye out for you. And sometimes I'll even throw in before they hit the market. I come across these properties before they even hit the market. So give me an idea what you're looking for. Now they'll give me an idea what they're looking for. Then I can now say, okay, great. Would you have some time to, and this doesn't work today, but would you have some time to go out and take a look at some properties?
Yeah. You know what? I have done that before. Actually,
Good.
I got a couple of leads from this project that I say that, because the guy was like, well, I'm looking for a good deal. And I did mention, I said, you know what? Me as a realtor, we get together with other realtors. I get to know properties they're going to come out on the market before they come out on the market. Would you want to, have access to that information? If you tell me what you're looking for, I can, pair you up with some properties that come up. And I say, I get this all the time. And he was like, yeah, you know what? Yes, that's a good idea. Why don't we do this? Let's keep in touch. So yeah, I get it.
Yeah, and it's
You okay, Anissa?
Yeah.
hanging in there.
Just don't cough into the microphone.
I'm not.
Severia, I noticed her coughing started when you started talking. She's like, bullshit. Like, bullshit.
No, I'm good.
No, but to actually credit what you're saying, I've heard you on the phone. We've done calls when the short time that we were in the same office together. We would make calls together. We just do a handful of calls, start running through the list. And I've heard Severio, and right away he does exactly what he said. He acknowledges,
Sweet.
hey, you signed up on the website. I just get an idea what you're looking for. And typically they just start opening up. And it's like, he's straight to the point, ask the question, they start talking. Didn't sound nervous, I was like, damn, you're pretty good at opening up. I can't understand half of what you're saying, but you're pretty good at opening up. You're pretty good at opening up and getting them to feel comfortable. And to be honest, that's real. That doesn't sound like a solicitation. You know what I mean? So just be genuine, be authentic, be who you are. And I know it's going to keep getting better. And I hope as we do this, and I hope as we connect, and if you guys are open to it, I know it always gets like, oh gosh, got to do prospecting. But if it's easier to do it together as a group, I know Anissa, you did a lot with Heather. But if you don't have that now because of the changes and what's happening, let's get on this together. Let's do it.
Yeah, be awesome.
And do it for 30 minutes to an hour and just make some calls at least once a week, at least one time a week.
Right.
I mean, it could be something where it's like, hey, screw it. We're going to do this every single day and just hop on 9 o'clock in the morning and start making calls. And then we're done with our day. You know what I mean? Then go off to do whatever. But we need to start setting a little bit of structure here just to start getting some results, practice. And plus it helps it helps me do my job, right? I'm going to be blunt. I need this more than the two of you need this, right? But in reality, it gives a little structure. We set a time during the week. So is there a time that works good for you? Monday through Friday, is there a particular day or time? Would you rather do a 9 a.m., 10 a.m.? What sounds better, or, what would work with the two of you and Russ as well, but I'm not as focused on Russ. I'm more.
I think 10. I think 10 o'clock.
And then do you want to try to do it on a particular day, Monday or Tuesday, or,
my schedule's pretty open right now.
So yeah, the thing is, I think this would be awesome to do, because we could just jump on like this, start making calls, and then if somebody gets one, so let's say, Anissa gets a call, everybody else could stop and we can just all listen and then talk about it afterwards. And
she's like, no, awesome. I don't want everybody focused.
You know what?
I've called
training.
You in the room, and I'm like,
yeah, she does it with them there.
I'll hide my video. Let me see if I can hide it.
I don't want you to have a whiteboard. No access to whiteboards both of you.
Right.
So I'll hide video. As soon as Anissa connects, I'll hide my video or put something up like this so that you can't see me, and then you can do it.
You guys are going to be writing on paper and going to be like.
But the cool thing with this is it does record the meetings. So, we don't have to like, oh, let me hit record right now. Let me do. So this is. Good old Russ.
All right.
So funny.
Yeah.
I got my whiteboard. Bring it on. I got a whiteboard.
Just gotta show off. Oh, I know. No, how sick would that be though? We could actually type messages to you in like.
Oh God.
Good.
Oh, I like that. that.
Say this
on the chat.
Oh yeah,
Anissa, we are doing this 100%. We're doing this.
Yeah.
No, but we can chat while whoever's on the phone, you guys can say, hey, make sure you ask them this, or make sure these things come up. Really throw you off your game, right? But hey, if you can handle that, but you can get some insight, and then also it'll record it, and we're going to get better. We're all going to get better, as we do it. But you guys want to try to shoot for Monday? Let's do Monday at 10 a.m.
Yep, I'm good.
Let's try it out, and then
we do Tuesday at 10 a.m. Then we do Wednesday at 10 a.m. and then we do Thursday at 10 a.m.
Exactly.
Right.
We gotta master this.
Yeah, we'll start. I'm trying to make it where we get a commitment to start with here. Anissa, you ready to do it every day, Monday through Friday?
Let's do it every day.
Okay. Monday through Friday, 10 a.m.
All right, Dan.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see how 1 week goes, right? So
Yeah.
It should be
the
fine.
good news is, you're going to be getting leads Monday through Friday next week, because I got some stacked up for you. So I got to dish them out. So, hey, if you guys hop on here and we make these calls, I'll keep sending them, and I'll keep pushing them out. I'll be blunt. I don't want to make the calls, right? But I'm willing to do it to be a team player as well, and to learn with everybody, and to fill the pipeline. Because to be honest, what other way are we going to do it other than our sphere? You should be making your sphere calls, right? Should be doing that. But also, this is, we got to do this. We got to make, if it's ever going to work, now's the time to make it work.
Yeah.
So let's
agree.
at least give it a good effort. Let's try next week, Monday through Friday. I got to change because I've been doing my little interview at 10 o'clock on Wednesdays. So thank you for screwing that up, Severio, for me. But I think Russ paid you to do that. He got a call from the higher up to say, hey, do it at 10 o'clock on Wednesdays.
Hey, you were asking questions. I'm giving you answers.
Let's do it. All right. Well, let's try it. I'm actually excited to do this next week, and let's give it a shot. We'll do it Monday through Friday. Just get on when you can do it. Hopefully we can do it all 5 days. Give it a shot, and then we'll reevaluate for the next week. In terms of
it's a good idea that we can see each other talking, and we can not judge, but correct each other, so we can get better and better. Yeah.
Yep.
Sounds good to me.
All right.
Great.
Yeah. What else do we got?
Love it, guys.
We'll commit to that. Anything else you guys want to cover today, or I think you went over some role play type stuff, and maybe we can do that for the first 5 minutes, quick role play. Let's practice it, and then hop on the phones and start doing it.
Yep. I'm down.
Love it.
So,
Russ, don't forget to send that.
the scripts.
Yeah, the scripts.
I will.
Please.
Okay. Yep. In fact, I'll do that right now.
Cool.
Awesome.
Anything else, Nisa, Severio?
I think we're good.
Okay.
We're good. Yeah.
Cool. We hit in an hour and 5 minutes. Let's wrap it up then. So we'll shoot.
Let's get to work.
Friday. Yeah. So Monday we'll do it, and I'm going to send you guys a few leads right now too, just to have them, and then if you get a chance to make some calls before then, or if you want to wait till Monday, that's fine too, and then we'll hop on the phone and do that. The only ones that really, it's the showing requests, right? So, Russ, the ones that kind of need to be immediate in terms of real time.
Yeah, I think if there's a showing request, jump on it ASAP.
Yeah, those are always the ones, and I've tried to send them to both of you as they've come in. So we'll see. And you're gonna get a lot of crazies out there, but that's real
true
world,
that.
You gotta.
Yeah, but
slay
9
the
times
dragon.
out of 10, they just want a lot more information about that property.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we'll tell them we'll do that. We'll reach out to them and start creating that rapport and that relationship. So there's some definitely opportunities here. And I know one of the biggest things, because Russ has talked about it, is the follow-up. So whatever we can do to be better about creating a system of follow-up. We obviously got our CM to keep our notes and set tasks. For me, it's helpful, but it still throws me off a little bit. I may need to do something similar to what we talked about before with the binder, and actually handwriting it out, and then putting, okay, these are the people I talked to today, and then put them in a month from now or a couple weeks from now that I need to follow up with them, because we need to start handling this like a machine. You know what I mean? And just
Well, that's what helps us. That's what helps us is that binder. That's the only, even though you can make notes on this, but I think you actually transferring it into something tangible also will help you.
Yeah. So we'll work on that and share what practices work and try different things out and start setting up some business. We all need it. So, but thank you guys for just your effort and just making the time to be on here. And thank you, Russ, for, bringing us all into this madness. It's all your fault.
Thank you, Russ.
No, I love it. I love it.
But it'll also be your fault when we all succeed from this too. And I know
Right.
I've seen it, Anissa, with you, and I know that regardless of everything, practice makes perfect. And you definitely have had more practice than anybody else in that Wood Ranch office. And your growth, whether you see it yet in terms of dollar signs, it's happening. And you're that close from, they talk about 3 feet from gold, you're that close. So don't quit or don't give up before you really fully benefit everything that all the time that you put into it, and some things will be quicker than the year plus. That's one example, one situation, but hey, you're going to get paid. You're going to get paid off of it. So this isn't a waste of time, and it's going to create other opportunities. And that's some of what we were talking about and trying to figure out, because there's going to be listing purchase type situations. And Russ had shared just out there, they usually do on the bigger of the two, it's our setup that we talked about, the 50-50. And then on the second one, it's usually half of that. But Russ, and I'm, you know, I know I'm just kind of speaking out loud. Are you good? Because it's a listing purchase, right? That you're doing with that lead, the one you're in escrow with, Anissa?
Yes.
Yeah. Are you good with just letting them just have it on the purchase? Yeah. So you guys, for that one,
Wait,
you guys, the listing purchase. He's like, wait a minute, what are you talking about?
Yeah, what are you agreeing to me for me?
Well, what I'm agreeing for you is that we don't take any cut on the second one on their purchase. You know what I'm saying? Because they've been working their tails off, and just, you know, times are tight right now. So
That'd be awesome.
can we do that for them?
Can you see my face right now?
That'd be awesome, Brandon. That'd be awesome, Brandon.
So guess, go ahead and not do Brandon's portion, but still send me.
I like the way you think. Russ, are you good with it, man? The one time we'll give them one freebie because they've been working hard, but it's, you know, I appreciate Anissa's honesty. She didn't have to be, you know, upfront. It's tight times right now, and this is all built on trust. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
Can we do that for the one for him?
Yep.
Thank you.
You're gonna get a phone call.
He just fired me right now. He's like, yeah, you can do it for your portion. I still want my 25%.
I know. I'm like, did you remember our conversation? What I told you yesterday about me?
Right.
Yeah. So you're gonna pay my bills?
Yep. No, I think.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Brandon.
Yeah.
That would help.
On my end, I'm forfeiting it. You could talk it out with Russ. I can't speak for his behalf, but Anissa, no, just in good faith, and thank you. And
Thank you.
still very, you'll get one too. We'll give you one on a mobile home, like $100,000 one.
$60,000.
That one. I haven't even done it.
You're gonna have to pay them if you do a mobile home.
You guys see how I'm making myself the good cop and I'm making Russ the bad cop right now too?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's working out pretty good. Russ is like, I'm never doing business with you again in this.
Yeah. Don't be surprised when the leads slow down, Brandon, all of a sudden.
All good, man. All right.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you.
We'll make it work. We'll make it work.
Okay.
Your effort, and thank you for having us in this project. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, and you know, I mean, and just on a side note too, is like the knowledge that I've walked away with from this, you guys. I mean, and the training that you guys have given me the last and sort of poured into me. I mean, I really appreciate that. I mean, I definitely, I've told you this before, I was the girl that made my sisters go sell candy bars for me and my softball team because I could not have a relationship with anyone. I was that shy. So the fact that I'm actually consider myself a cold caller, it's huge. So thank you guys.
Well, I appreciate the acknowledgement with it. We just want you to see the value because I know, believe me, and for you, it's a little even more difficult because you're splitting it with Heather. So, you know,
it does make it hard. It does. I mean, to be honest, it does make it hard.
Yeah, you're
so.
cutting it down a lot, and that's the reason. At least I'm offering my portion. I was trying to get Russ to as well, but you guys can talk about that on the side. If he still wants to enforce his and be a you know what, then that's on him. But no, I think for the special times what we got going on right now, how tight money is for everybody, and I appreciate just your honesty and just being upfront about it from day one. I know you reached out to me, to Russ. I believe you reached out to Russ as well. So just appreciate that, Anissa, because it doesn't go to deaf ears. We appreciate you and what you're doing. And to be honest, I mean, the two of you are if you stay committed to this, there's a good chance that, you know, hopeful this turns into more just once a year. You know, this should be something we have to figure out a way to make this something that's much more fruitful. And that's the only reason why Russ and I got involved in this in the beginning, is to help create some opportunities, and we need to also create some income and pay our bills as well. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so
totally.
it's not, I apologize, Russ. I shouldn't have done that live on the spot, you know, with just throwing that out there. But I want to acknowledge for Anissa, you know, because I know how tough it is right now, and just, you know, want you to know that we want you making money off of this. The only other part we didn't clarify after that, and what Russ and I did talk about, is after you do the initial. So if it's a buy sell type situation, it's just about being upfront, right? If it's a buy sell situation, so the first one we're doing right now, you know, that you're only going to hit us on the big one, whatever the big of the two is, whether it's the listing or the purchase. So that one will get the regular.
Which one is it?
What's that?
It's the sell.
The sell is there bigger. Okay. When is that closing?
April 27th.
Okay.
So it was, let me think. shoot, I gotta look. It was like 7:45 maybe.
No, that's fine. Yeah, that's great. I just was
7:45.
curious. So
Only 7:45. All right. We need
Cool.
to pick that up.
Yeah.
No, but
Yeah.
it's obviously big transactions that are still coming through this. It's not all mobile home stuff. And I paid the
Yeah.
Zillow, and that's all I got. Anything else that you wanted to ask, Russ?
Nope,
I
I'm
start
good.
talking the ears
I'm
off?
good. Wasn't this supposed to be a 30-minute call?
It is, man.
Hey, it's
But you
hard
know,
when we have Brandon and Russ talking.
I know, 4 expressives.
Oh, yeah. So very
All right.
chatterbox over here in the bottom left corner of my screen.
Boom.
No, but what I
Okay.
wanted to say is after the initial, right, after that first, so if it's a listing purchase, moving forward, it will be 50 on the first and 25 on the second. After that, it's your client. And anything, any referrals, anything, it's not. So this is still building your database. This is still building your sphere, right? But prior to that, it's still technically Russ and I's lead. We're paying for it. We're giving it to you to work, to convert it, right? And then if you can close it, well, that's all we're asking for on the cut. And then when you're like, screw these guys, and we're off to, paradise, wherever that is, just please, we're just going to respect that you're going to be honest. And, when these pan out 6 months, a year from now, that you just cut the referral checks over. And then again, it's your client after that. So,
so what do you mean 25 on the second? So the sell would be 50, and then the 20, you guys get 25% on the,
correct.
on the
Yeah,
sell.
if somebody's doing a list and a sale.
So if it's a list purchase, that's what it is. Russ was actually sharing that quite a few of his teams out there, they do 50 on both of them. But we're trying to make it, because it is, it's still substantial. But at the same time, it doesn't need to be a broken record on our part. If nothing happens, nobody gets paid. And the only people that are, you're out your time for making the call and the time that you spent, right? But for him and I, it's a hard expense no matter what. And right now I'll be the first to admit, I'm looking at all my bills and trying to cut out everything that I don't need to pay for right now. So that's the purpose. One of the purposes of this call is really to see what your commitment level is. I want you to be honest. I don't want you to be afraid to tell the truth, because if we're all frustrated and we give up on this, there's no point. And I've experienced some of the frustrations, but I also know that sometimes I got to just, tough it out and know that you're going to deal with a certain amount of pain and rejection to getting to the quality people. And all it takes is one quality person to make all the crap worth it, right? So that's where our focus has to be, not on all the, that sucks, so let's stop doing it. No, you're going to deal with that, and you got to keep those people in their place. But then you have to focus on the good and make sure that keeps you driving. Like, well, because of that, I'm in escrow on a $750,000 listing right now, and they're purchasing another property. You know what I'm saying? So,
no, totally. You're 100% right. You're 100%. And you do have to weed out. There's a lot of, with these leads, there's a lot of weeding out. But it's funny that you just said that, because really the people that are still standing are the big ones. Like we have that $1 million house coming. She was probably, this person I'm in escrow was probably number 2. That next person is number 3 that I've been talking to since pretty much day 1.
Yeah.
So
it's awesome.
No, but we appreciate your efforts. So, and Russ and I will talk. And again, so you at least got a 25% cut off of mine forgiven. So Russ.
Yeah, don't ever call me again, Brenner.
Yeah, you'll have to.
You realize how long I've been doing this there, right?
Right. You'll have to smooth him a little bit more. And
Thank you, Russ.
You got to smooth him. Send him a private phone call, and we'll just leave it at that, right? You guys talk it out for the other part. But no, just more than anything, I'm just trying to say it just out of gratitude and thank you for you guys. And let's get to work.
All right.
Thank you.
We'll
talk to you guys.
Okay, see you guys later.
All right.
Bye.
We'll see you. Bye. You guys good?
Crazy.
How you doing, bro?